I set out on a journey to be one of Terraria's hardest mods, Calamity Infernum. If you haven't heard of it, Calamity is one of Terraria's most popular mods, and adds a ton of new content. While Calamity is difficult alone, the add-on Infernum makes it almost impossible.
Why is this so hard? This mod is gonna kill me.
I also went ahead and added another add-on called Wrath of the Gods, but we'll get into that later. And after 53 hours, over 500 deaths, and maybe a few tears, I finally conquered it. But before I show you that, we have to go back to the very beginning. As soon as I loaded in, I wanted to get right into the action, because Infernum is known for making bosses insanely difficult. But before I could actually fight any, I had to get some gear. So, I went around a bit and explored a bit. Died, got some accessories, died some more, but eventually, I was ready to fight my first boss. Luckily, a Slimer had started, and this was the perfect opportunity to fight King Slime, my first boss in Infernum mode. However, this mod showed me pretty early on that it wasn't going to be that easy. But, while King Slime might have been a bit too hard, I wasn't ready to give up. So, I took some time to prepare a little more, upgraded my gear, got some better weapons, got some better accessories, and I decided to try my luck with the infamous Eye of Cthulhu. And that didn't go too well either. But, I knew that this mod wasn't going to be easy. I was ready for a fight. So I picked up my weapon, wiped the sweat off my face, and tried again. And this time,
I think the Kyla's gonna be the way to go. I don't think that's how you say it. $60 damage is insane. I was wrong, they don't work from the Big Bang. I thought they did. That was a misjudge on my part. I think that's why we lost last one. And I'm not feeling confident about this one because I had to go pop midway. Otherwise though, if I just play this smart. Yep. Try this. Yeah, we're taking way less damage. I should have dropped. What is... Are those home? Okay, that's not bad. You get up. Yep. Nice. Not nice. Not nice. Beautiful. Watch for servants. Yup. 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 Stop! That's it. That's it. Come on. Let's go! Ow.
After a long fight, I had come out victorious, and I was so happy that I had accomplished something in Infernum. But that was only the first boss. I still had an entire playthrough ahead of me, so it was time to move on to my next target, the Eater of Worlds. I knew that there was a good chance that he would be as hard or even harder than the Eye of Cthulhu, and I wanted to prepare myself as much as possible. So I made my way over to the Corruption and made a huge arena to fight him in, knowing that I would need a ton of space to dodge. Then, after grabbing some potions and mentally preparing myself, I had nothing more to do, so I said screw it, and I gave it my all.
Okay. So it is a bit different than Normal. Liking it so far though. Doesn't seem too bad. Should do the clutch there. So I can use this a little bit. Nope. I can use that. Got to pop the potions, as I always do. Phase 2. Okay. I thought so. I feel like that was too easy, that first one. So there's no way that's it. Okay. Rage. Kinda got stuck there. Not like this. No. There are so many projectiles. This is the kind of fight I was looking for. Hell yeah. Right to this. Five seconds, then I got the potion. That hurt. Pop that. Come on. What? There's no way. I jumped into that. I didn't see him. Potion. Rage. Come on. Oh! Whoa.
Surprisingly, the preparation was worth it, and I first tried the Eater of Worlds. This win gave me a brand new confidence for going into the next boss. But before I move forward, I realized that I missed a couple of bosses that I wanted to do first. Like I said earlier, Calamity is a mod that adds a ton of new content, and that includes a ton of new bosses. The first one that I wanted to do was Crabulon. Crabulon is a boss that you fight in the Mushroom Caves. So, I made my way down to one, cleared out an area, and just simply gave it a shot. And well,
Alright, we're doing alright damage. Not bad, not great though. I think it might be enough. That really hurt. So did that. He's doing a lot of damage to me. I also went ahead and got some shadow armor, so I'm hoping that this is good. I can't move. So I'm just gonna try to keep my distance more. Hopefully that helps. Yep. 20 seconds to potion. Ooh, he's stuck in the hole. That's nice. All these projectiles are hitting me, man. Way less health than I want. Man, I need to dodge those. There we go, not bad. We're still not doing a ton of damage. I jumped into that. I wanted that heart. I got some back here. How do I dodge those? This. There we go. That wasn't the best idea. That's fine. Not bad. My rage. What is that? Ah! Okay, that's fine. That's manageable. I shouldn't have done that. I need to get over. Yep. Use my potion. I should have buffed up before this, but that's okay. We'll do it. It's fine. Yep. Easy. Dodge these. Yep. We're back up to 300 health. We're doing good. We're doing plenty of damage. I don't need to worry about that. I just need to worry about not getting hit when I don't need to. I shouldn't have dashed into that. It's fine. Alright, we got rage. Dodge these. Yep. Dodge these. That's bad. Get over. Yep, that's fine. Okay, we still have 200 health. 250, 270. Okay, nice. Dodge that. We're doing a lot of damage. He only has 1,000 health left. Less than. We're gonna get over. Yep, yep. Get over farther. I'm dropping down. Yep. Okay, that's fine. We have a potion too. We're golden. 400 health. Easy. This is it. And this music is banging. Hell yeah. Easy. Let's go.
Boom. First try. This fight was pretty easy since Crapulon comes before Eater of Worlds progression-wise, but still fun. The second boss that I missed was Desert Scourge, so I went ahead and got that one done too.
Alright, here we go. I can already tell just how hard this would be if I were trying to do this prior to getting like rocket boots or spectre boots and the accessories that I have now. I believe there's going to be phase 2 as well. So, usually he spits into the desert nuisances. These sun vultures are sick. Oh, there's not. Never mind.
And there we go. Now, all of these bosses were easy, but now it was time to make some real progress and fight the next boss, the Hive Mind. Hive Mind is basically just the second corruption boss, like the Eater of Worlds, and is incredibly fun. Also, after getting a huge confidence boost from first trying the earlier bosses, I was already pretty much ready to fight him. So, after upgrading my gear once more, I went back to the corruption arena and gave the Hive Mind a shot.
Alright, let's go. Alright, so we're not doing a ton of damage. We're also not taking a lot of damage. So this might honestly just take a while. But it's not bad. So far it's easily dodgeable. I'm gonna try to use this and just, if it dashes, try to get it. Could've gotten it there. There we go. Hits like that. That should make this go faster. There we go. Oh, those are undodgeable. Okay. Or unhittable, actually. Oh, that's interesting. A little too close there. Otherwise, though, I literally just keep doing this when we win. Easy. Probably dodge that. Okay. I'm guessing I just have to go up there. I didn't even pop my potions. I don't think I'm going to. I can win this with consistency. Okay, wait, hold up. Phase 2. I can't even see those. It's okay. Alright, now it's getting interesting. Okay, yeah, so you just have to go up there. He's already very low though, so unless there's a phase 3. Unless there's more of a fight after I get his health down to 0. Then this should be it. Okay, there we go.
Surprisingly, even though this fight took a while, it was honestly another easy one, and I first tried it too. And because these first few bosses were so easy to me, my confidence was through the roof, and I was sure that nothing would stop me. Either way though, now that I had gotten past a few early game bosses, it was time to step things up and make some more progress. So with the best armor and accessories that I could get, it was time to fight the one and only Skeletron. Beating Skeletron would open up the dungeon, which would unlock a ton of loot for me to get, and I wanted that loot. So, I went to the dungeon with confidence, expecting an easy win, and well...
Oh, can I not damage his hands? Okay. That's interesting. That hurt. Okay. This is manageable. This is manageable. Holy sh**. I just got hit. Okay. We're getting hit hard. Never mind. This might not be that manageable. What the sh**?
Yeah, it didn't go well, but I knew that with sheer time and effort, I could win. So I kept going. And though I died over and over again, I just kept trying to grasp victory until finally, I had learned the perfect strategy and executed it. With just enough time left in the night, I had finally done it. I had beaten Skeletron, the hardest boss yet. Killing Skeletron cued the beginning of the Wrath of the Gods content. And that meteor that just fell out of the sky? Well,
I failed. Are you okay? Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. I suppose so. Who are you? I'm Solon. Sorry, I just can't think straight. We can talk later. Right now, I need time. Alright, I'll give you some space. Thanks. I appreciate it.
And that starts Wrath of the Gods. Anyways, another thing that came with defeating Skeletron was that I could now go into the dungeon, where I found better accessories and weapons to use against the next big boss progression-wise. Slime God. This is another Calamity boss that is super fun, would give me even better stuff to make progress, and is one of, if not my favorite pre-hard mode bosses in all of modded Terraria. So, with a little bit of preparation, I got it summoned and did my best.
Yep.
I then realized that this might be harder than I expected, but either way, I knew it was possible, so I kept going. Yeah, it might be hard, but I just did Skeletron. That was way harder. I knew I had the skill, I just had to learn the attacks and react accordingly. And that is exactly what I did.
Hey.
Easy. With this win, I had done all of the major bosses for progression leading up to the Wall of Flesh, and I was built and ready now to face him. But before I did that, I went ahead and cleaned up some other bosses that I missed, like Giant Clam.
That's way better. I can't imagine trying to do this without a dash like Shield of Cthulhu or something. Because it makes those parts just way easier. There we go. Okay.
Easy. And I also went ahead and did Queen B.
Here we go. Ooh,
Let's just pretend that didn't happen.
yeah, let's hit it. I think I'm underestimating this fight a little bit because we're not dead, and this isn't as bad, obviously, as 2 Queen Bees, but I gotta say, I may have underestimated this just a bit. I think we're still gonna win. I think. We should. And there we go.
Also easy. Now that I had defeated almost every pre-hard mode boss, I was ready for the Wall of Flesh. I put in the time, I put in the effort, I built up the skill, and I knew that this fight would be a breeze. Down in hell, in the golden lava, I threw in the voodoo doll and was ready for a totally normal Wall of Flesh fight.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, I was not expecting that. Anyway, the only reason why this wasn't bad was because I had learned something from my previous encounters. Those earlier bosses didn't take multiple attempts because they were obscenely difficult or I was lacking in skill. They took multiple attempts because they took practice. The more I practiced, the more I fought, the more I died, the better I got, because I was learning the attacks. So, with this knowledge, I knew that after a few attempts, I could easily learn his attacks and I could win. So that's what I did.
It's not hard to dodge the attacks by themselves. What gets tough is the combination of the lasers plus the giant beam. So if I can do that though, then we got this. I just really need to focus. And not overdo my dodging. this. I think it does do more damage. If I can hit more shots with this. Come on. Wow.
And there we go. I had done it. Pre-hard mode was finished, and I was onto the harder fights. And while it was fun, man, I wish I knew just how hard these fights would get. Having done all of pre-hard mode in Calamity's hardest difficulty, I was on top of the world. Right after beating Wall of Flesh, I went and upgraded my accessories, got palladium armor, and was ready to take on anything this mod would throw at me. So, with confidence, I tried to do my first mech, Skeletron Prime.
Whoa.
But unfortunately, I lost. So, instead, I decided that the first boss that I had to get done was Cryogen, Calamity's intro to hard mode, and a good stepping stone to get closer to fighting the 3 mechanical bosses. So I made the summon and traveled over to the tundra to see if I could do it. But I couldn't. I wasn't doing enough damage. But I couldn't stop. I couldn't be weak. I was already this far, I couldn't give up now. So I stood up, spent some time grinding to obtain a better weapon, and I gave it my all.
But this is way harder. Man, I need to stop. I'm too like frenzy with my dash. Like I dash just a little bit too much when I don't need to. I need to get used to smaller, more meticulous movements to, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. Like there, I did not need to dash there. Then here, just vertical. Try to go up. Should be easy with wings. That is so hard to dodge. Like, what the hell is that? That was my bad. I'm not gonna use a potion yet. I want to save them until I really need it. I didn't need a dash there. I did it, I guess.
Barely. Just barely. I had won. Although we finished each other off, I had officially defeated my very first hard mode boss in Calamity Infernum, who also happened to drop a quest item called the Dormant Key.
This is actually, yeah, this is part of Wrath of the Gods. This is for one of Solon's storylines, so yeah. Hey, something up? Permafrost gave me this key for freeing him. Would you happen to know anything about it? The key doesn't strike me as ordinary. It's imbued with some sort of magic spell. Ooh, that gives me an idea. An idea? What kind of idea? I'm picking up a faint magic signature identical to the one emitted by this key. It's somewhere deep within the frozen caverns. We should go and explore it. If it was locked, I'm sure we'll find some awesome things in there. Here, I'll mark its location on your map. I'll be there when you're ready, and then we can explore the yada yada yada.
So I made my way down to the tundra to find where Solon went off to. After some looking, I found an underground building and she was there waiting for me. So I went inside to have a look.
I've been looking around, but there doesn't seem to be too much of note except for this. This frozen artifact appears to be some sort of seed. Furthermore, it has incredible magic potential. I can sense it. I'm not sure what it could be used for, but I'd recommend taking it and holding onto it for later. Will do. Good. As for me, I'll give this some thought. I'm sure we could do great things with this seed thing. Either way, I'll be taking my leave, I think. This place is rather small. Alright, there we go.
The Wrath of the Gods mod was starting to pick up. After making my way back up to the surface, I was already ready for more. I was ready for my first mech. Earlier, I had lost to Skeleton Prime, but that didn't mean that I couldn't win. Cryogen was just a quick detour, but I was ready. I knew that with effort and determination, I could beat him. So after a few attempts, with no belief that I would win since there was such little time left in the night, I just simply tried.
I'm gonna give this another shot just so I can learn. I know I'm not gonna beat it in time, but... So yeah, this first phase is generally pretty simple. Because the same attacks and their tells are pretty obvious, so. And then a lot of these are simple, it's just going to be getting good at them. It's going to be. Because I already pretty much know the tells. It's just like, I just need to learn how to dodge that. And then here, just go around the circles. I love this soundtrack. This is where rings come in handy. Definitely need to learn the tell for that. Okay, so that's not terrible. Man, I wish I had more time. Please. It's so close. Oh. Hey!
Bang. With a mere 10 seconds left of the night, I had done it. Skeletron Prime had been defeated. I was brimming with confidence after this win, and I was ready for more too. With no time to spare, I decided to move on to whatever this mod had to offer next. And that was Queen Slime. Going in, I knew I might not win first try, but I knew I would win no matter what. So I tried. And though I died a few times, after only a few attempts,
and it was just a blast. So I hope you guys, if you guys haven't checked that out, please do. It's a good one. At least it was for me. That's hard for me to read, personally. Oh wait, that's not that bad, actually. Why did that one go up? You guys saw that? Yep. Yep. Oh my gosh. Dodge. Yep. Almost have adrenaline. Oh, are you kidding me? I just lost it. Perfect. It's perfect. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Let's go, dude.
Easy. Third hard mode boss. Done. Now, with more confidence than ever, I had no doubt that I could absolutely crush the upcoming bosses. I was ready to defeat the next mechs and show what I could really do, how skilled I really was. So with full belief in my ability to win, I summoned the next in line, the Destroyer. I barely made a dent in his health. Yet, I tried again. And died. All of the confidence I had gained from doing earlier bosses with only a few attempts was gone. They were all nothing compared to this. This was insane. So I tried to find a way around. I didn't think I could beat the Destroyer, so I tried my luck with the twins and immediately, maybe after another attempt, a little better, still died. So I tried again, dead. I couldn't even get close with them either. So I went back to the Destroyer and dead.
What else? Holy shit.
3 times. I didn't know what to do. Both of the remaining mechs seemed impossible, and with little hope and what seemed like nowhere to go, I was lost. Until I remembered, there was still another way. Down in hell, waiting for me, was the answer. The Brimstone Elemental. Whether or not defeating her would make me any progress, at least I could accomplish something. So I journeyed down, and out of hope, I just tried to win. And though I died once, this was manageable. So I came back, and I just tried.
I've done Providence before. I got nothing on me. Okay, this isn't doing anything. This is doing so much more damage, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's cooked. And for the rest of these attacks, I say I've done Avatar of Emptiness on death mode. You ain't got nothing on me. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm bad at Calamities, so that makes sense. Oh, I don't know why I try to get above that. At least so far, it doesn't seem like it's getting a lot harder. It seems like I'm just getting worse. So, hey, that's a plus. If she doesn't have a phase 2, I might be able to do this attempt. I don't know though. We're not looking perfect on health, but we're not looking terrible. Okay, maybe it is getting a little harder actually. That seems like a lot. 2 seconds and then I have a potion. I'm gonna use it right away. And then I'm just gonna take my time with this. If she chases me. What the fuck? Yep. I had a wall flash, yep. Easy. Oh, I didn't even see those. Was I getting hit by those the entire time? Whew. I got super lucky there. Get duped. Ooh, I got duped. I took a lot of damage during those few attacks, so I don't know if we're going to do it this time. We're looking pretty good though, I'm just going to say it. I don't want to jinx it. I jinxed it. God. Wait, is this it? This is our part 2. Phase 2. No. Okay, let's go.
I did it. I felt almost rejuvenated. I felt that if I could do this, then I possessed the skill to do the rest. I could do the other mechs. With newfound hope, I was ready. I summoned the twins and gave it my all. And I died. But I had nothing to do but try. So I summoned them again. I was so close. I was there. I reached the last phase. And I threw. Even though I was crushed, I kept going. But I failed every time. I didn't believe that I could truly win against the twins at all anymore. I thought that they had won. So as a last resort, I pivoted. I tried the destroyer because I didn't know what else to do. And for whatever reason, something beautiful happened.
Holy...
I had done it. Whether it was a fluke or pure dedication, I won. The destroyer was defeated. But there was still a glaring problem in my way. The twins. Even now, I still didn't know if I could do them. But I did know one thing. I wasn't giving up. I wanted to beat this mod so badly, there was nothing that could stop me. So despite not knowing, not even believing that I could win, I had nothing to do but just simply try. And finally, after over 20 attempts, I had done it. I had officially defeated every mechanical boss in Calamity Infernum, the hardest bosses yet. As I approached what is usually the end of vanilla Terraria, Calamity was just beginning, and it was about to show me what truly makes this mod special, and that is the bosses. While until now, not too many of the bosses that I had done were actually from Calamity, that was about to change, because the next challenge was Calamity's Clone. Calamity's Clone is basically just an easy version of the mod's final boss, Supreme Calamity's. Now, I say easy and basic, but really, this fight was awesome, and after one tiny death,
I actually want to see what SCal's like AI is now, because this is at all reminiscent of it, because this is completely different than the vanilla Calamity boss, Calamity's Clone, than the vanilla Calamity's Clone. So I actually want to see what, because I'm assuming this is just a like vanilla, just a recreation of SCal, but easy. And it's kind of reminiscent, like in that first attempt with the blue and red, the Aka and Ow, sorry, like twins almost. Because that is part of SCal. If you guys have never watched vanilla Calamity SCal before, which I'm assuming you have, but if you haven't, very fun. Okay, so that one's pretty easy to dodge, honestly, if you just know it's coming. I don't like being diagonal here. They're kind of lucky there. I need to remember that that's the attack that comes second. Dropping parts or whatever they are. That one's not bad if you just take your time. Sounds close. Okay. Alright. Yep. Phase 2 with the twins. Padoosh. Okay, yeah, now I remember. Okay, I'm definitely not playing this the best that it could be. It's not go terribly. These guys are almost down. There we go. Now it's got to stay consistent in this, basically. And just watch out for when she like dashes at me. Pretty much all. Okay. Couple seconds then we have a potion. Okay, use that. Oh my gosh. Yep. It's just timing. Actually, I'm not being. I don't know where she is. Oh, she's over there. Okay. Okay, took a lot of damage there. Phase 3. Please, bro, please die. Is that it? Oh. Hey!
There we go. One of the most fun bosses that I had gotten to see so far had been defeated with relative ease, and I was hopeful again. It seemed like this mod might actually turn around for the better. And eager to fight more, eager to make more progress, I was ready for another fight. So next up, to continue Terraria's base progression, was one of Vanilla's best bosses, Plantera. Thankfully, Calamity gives Plantera her own area to fight her in. So all I had to do was go down there, make some platforms, and just give it a try. Not terrible, but after easily 2-shotting Calamity's clone, I thought that this was going to be a breeze. But I realized that I didn't know any of the attacks and I was going in blind. But who was I kidding? I did the twins. They were way harder than this. So I stood up, gave it some more attempts, and thankfully, after a few,
It's really just that last phase that I need to avoid taking too much damage. Otherwise, it's not too bad. I really just want to get comboed like that. When I hit with multiple things in a row. That's the biggest issue. Because it does so much damage, it just stacks. Ooh, I picked the wrong side. This is great. I took so much damage there, man. Oh yes, I got so lucky there. Nice. I should get lucky with the thorns here. Okay, not bad, not bad. Manageable. Okay. Done. Nice. Okay, so that's kind of predictable where she's gonna do that, which is super nice. We love predictability. Thankfully, it didn't take too much damage there. Nice. There's that good precision. Beautiful. Hella lucky. I didn't mean to go past that, I meant to dash the other way. There's just so many projectiles, dude. Holy crap.
The most insane fight yet, and I did it third try. But I wasn't done. This mod had so much to offer, and I was ready for more. But I still didn't want to get too cocky, so I got some perennial ore to get better armor, and I upgraded my weapon to a Terrorblade. Right after that preparation though, I was on to the next, and I went straight to the astral biome and threw a shot at Astrum Aureus, Calamity's first astral boss.
I'm cooked.
Surprisingly, even with better weapons, I barely did any damage, and even though I got so close, I died. But I wasn't giving up. I've already done so much, this was nothing. So after a quick reforge, I was right back at it.
There we go. Okay, so now we're doing a bit more damage, so this should go a bit quicker. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, Ashen Base is so unbelievably easy in just vanilla Calamity. So I'm super glad they at least buffed this a little bit. I need to stop jumping so much and just react. Like that. Like I jump into it. And there. Because I always try to go over when I don't need to. I didn't see any of those coming. I'm not sure. Okay. I feel like earlier they were going way further above me, but whatever. And I'm still surprised at how little damage we're doing. I don't know if Peach has an insane amount of health, but earlier those were going way further above my head. I wonder why they're not now. Oh my! That isn't. I still don't know how to dodge that because it's not like I can go around him, right? Unless I can go above around. I'll try that next time. But it seems like the missiles are just too fast, or it's just gonna like push me into him. Like that. I guess keeping distance works. Here, I don't know how to dodge these either without using a teleport. Try to go under. Nice, it worked, it worked. Okay, that kind of worked. Kind of worked circles. There's a little bit of a charge of leaving here. Kinda nice. I'm getting no damage in though. Sucks. I think this is gonna be the best weapon. That is crazy to be able to dodge. I don't get how to dodge that. Still. Yep, nice, nice, nice. Okay, yeah, that was my fault, but that's still insanely hard to dodge. This music is banging though, I like it, I like it. Oh, you just shut up. Listen. It was a little bit of a premature pop, but it's okay. Better safe than sorry. When that happens, I just get what? Why did it drag me in? That wasn't terrible. I need a potion now. I didn't need to do that. That's okay. Yes, we're here. Come on. Final stretch. Not this attack. It's the one I don't know how to dodge, dude. I have a rod. Okay, that's fine. Let's go!
Easy. The boss that I was more scared for than Plantera was defeated in 2 tries. I was once again brimming with confidence. Nothing could get in my way. Nothing was going to stop me from completely beating Calamity Infernum mode. so I was on to the next. I was on a rampage, I couldn't be stopped, I wanted more. So immediately, without a second to spare, I went over to the ocean, ready to try Calamity's next boss, Anahita and Leviathan.
Okay, this might be a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be.
And I died. But was one death really going to stop me? Nah. I went right back and tried again.
Yeah, I think we were pretty close on that first attempt, because, I mean, we got to phase 3. I just need to learn how to dodge the dash. Maybe it might work if I like dash a little bit into it, like a little bit later. Nah, it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, so I accidentally left the ocean biome here, which basically just prevents me from doing damage. So we're just gonna skip ahead a little bit.
There we go. I can learn this though. This isn't the worst thing in the world. Yeah, this isn't that bad. Okay. It just takes some getting used to. Ooh, I did not expect the dash there. He hadn't done that before. Is he gonna dash? No. I'm confused. Oh, he like, his attack pattern isn't set in stone. So, you kind of just have to based off reaction. But he didn't do that time too, so. Like, sometimes I can get below him, sometimes I can't. He's gonna dash? Yeah. Okay. I just need to constantly be moving. I didn't mean to use that. Oh, okay. It's okay. I also think I need to dash a little bit less when he dashes. Because I think that's actually hurting me more than it's helping me. I'm learning. You can kind of bait him. Okay, never mind. That guy hits so much there. I'm not locked. I'm not locked in. Yeah, you can bait him. Okay. Like go up and then yeah. Okay. That works. That works. So he's almost dead. But I can't get too, like, willy-nilly, I guess, with it. Because there's still a whole fight left, basically. Yeah, there, I did not, if I didn't dash, I wouldn't have gotten hit. So I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna play it safe. His hitbox is really hard to see. Like, I don't really know what it is. Because it's not exactly his sprite. I mean, he's dead now, so it doesn't matter. Like, I've already won. Like, I alone am the honored one. So, oh my gosh. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm Because I actually really don't want to lose this. And come on, there we go.
Another boss done in 2 attempts. The momentum that I was gaining pushed me further and further, but I was still craving more fights. So right after Anahita, I found myself in the jungle's dungeon, making my way down, ready to make more progression, ready to fight Golem. As soon as I got down there, I placed some platforms, like usual, and with confidence summoned him right away. And something crazy happened.
What happened? My platforms. You jerk, you took my platforms. What? Okay. Did my boy went on the ceiling? Okay, maybe this is gonna be a little bit helpful. Take this nice and slow. Yep, easy. Huh? Excuse me? Okay, that one's not bad actually. Ah, there's that. Let's go on the ceiling. No idea how to dodge that. Zero clue. Yeah, I don't get that attack. I don't get it. I mean, maybe I can manage just tanking the damage. I mean, I don't want to, though. And him getting rid of the platforms is just evil. Like, that's just mean. Makes this 1,000 times harder. Oh, that was so much better than I've ever done it. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Going with it, and then getting over, and then going the other way. That makes more sense. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. If there's a phase 2 though, I don't know. Cause I'm not doing a ton of damage. Yeah, that's way easier than I thought it was. I mean, it's still difficult, right? And I still get hit like 9 times out of 10, but way easier. Ooh, ooh. And I can switch kind of midway, but it's just, I think I was going too fast before. Like I was panicking. Phase 2. Oh, nah. Is this Mario? What the? I kinda like it. I'm out of flight. Okay, I'll take 2 hits. I don't want to take 2. Out of light. Yeah, there's nothing I could have done there. Man. Whew. Don't leave me. Stop. Platforms, stop. I need you. Need to get this damage in. Why are there platforms there? That messed me up. Ooh! Close. Thank you for the platform. Holy crap, that saved my life. Bro, I swear, this is just an endurance battle. Almost have rage. No, dude. Okay, not bad. This scaling is super cool though. Like the attack's getting harder. I love it. Especially in this fight. That hurt. Yeah, he a little geek now. I just need to keep getting this damage in though. Okay. Yep, just stay consistent. Whew. That damage, come on. Come on. Not this attack. Please. Holy.
First try. I didn't know how I was doing it. I was flying through bosses like they were nothing, and I started to wonder, is this mod too easy? Was I too good? Sure, there were rough patches with some difficulty, but I was 1, 2, 3 shotting bosses like they were nothing. I was beating one of Terraria's hardest mods, if not its hardest mod, with ease. And even though I was absolutely shook by just how good this was going, I didn't want to stop. I had insane momentum, so I sprinted to the dungeon and prepared for the next fight. Lunatic Cultist. If I could beat him, then I was already pretty much ready for Moonlord, the end of vanilla Terraria's bosses, and I was so excited for more. So without waiting any longer,
Let's just give this a shot, honestly. Might as well. I also got beetle armor. I don't know if I said that. Phase 2 maybe?
I couldn't believe it. Another boss down. First try. I was flying through these bosses and they were honestly easy, so I was again on to the next, that being Astrum Deus. Now, this was the first boss in a while that I was actually scared for, but that wasn't stopping me. I had done so many bosses so easily and I was so confident that with barely any preparation, I barged my way into the Astral Infection and just straight up summoned him, not even really expecting to win.
Let's try it. This ram dash is so nice. Try to use this a little bit for the damage. Not doing bad damage. Ooh, let me change. Got music and I forgot this. Whoa. Our health is surprisingly not looking too bad. Okay, that's a problem. I might have jinxed it. Man, that hit me. I need the damage. That's. Huh. Four seconds, they have a potion. no idea where he is. He's all the way down there. Going for it. Good damage. Holy, that was not bad, actually.
Yet another surprisingly easy boss down. First try. I was having a blast flying through bosses like they were nothing, and the next few were going to be no different. The next few bosses all came before Astrodeus progression-wise, so I could have gone on and fought Moonlord at any point, but I was just having too much fun, and I didn't want to miss any of the bosses, so I continued on my rampage, and that started with Ravager.
So far, a lot better than normal calamities. This is not what I wanted. I don't want to go to the pillar area. I don't know if it will spawn pillar enemies. In case it does, I'll keep my distance. Music's pretty good though. Can't lie. Okay, I've definitely gotten the hang of it. I think we're almost out of phase 2. Okay, I can see it's definitely getting a bit tougher. There we go.
Easy. Again. And without time to spare, I was on to the next. Duke Fishron.
Whoa. It was weird. I didn't mean to use that. Yo, this is kind of banging. I'm liking this yo-yo. Can't lie. Phase 3. Okay. Manageable, manageable. Vampire Knives low-key coming in clutch. Stop dashing! I can dash too. Yeah, I can dash too. Oh, that's bad. Oh, let's go. Dude, I'm too good.
Do I even have to say it again? First try once again. On to the next. Plaguebringer Goliath. Now, this was another Calamity boss, and one of my personal favorites, but unfortunately, I died a couple times.
That was a nuke. I wasn't looking for it. I said I was gonna and I wasn't.
Still though, with the past few bosses going so incredibly easy, I felt unstoppable. My momentum continued even through death, and I won.
Alright, look for the nuke, look for the nuke.
Too easy. I couldn't be stopped and I couldn't be slowed. I wanted more. So I was on to the next. Empress of Light, the last boss before Moonlord. Now, this one also took a couple attempts, but really, after learning it,
I didn't mean to use that. Ooh. I didn't mean to use that again. I really need to move my yo-yo. Okay, yep, that's his. Come on. I do not do damage, okay. Maybe I just try to survive. Holy. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna use right at Discord if I need to. Okay, we survived that. There's no way there's more.
Another easy boss. I couldn't contain my happiness.
Ooh,
I was
my
flying through Infernum like it was easy, and I was loving absolutely every second of it. So now, after beating every single boss that I had done so far, it was time for the end of Vanilla Terraria. Moonlord. My confidence was through the roof from doing the past few bosses, especially because they were all relatively easy. This, along with my sheer excitement to get into pure Calamity, or post-Moonlord, made me expect that Moonlord would be no different. I expected an easy fight. So, with basically no preparation aside from doing bosses, I made my way to the last pillar, killed it like normal, but...
Alright, there we go. It's time to get this... Never mind. Here we are, we're going now. That's interesting.
After legit jump scaring me, I died. Pretty badly. But I didn't give up.
Let's try this again.
I died even worse this time. Barely even making a dent. This was a giant step up, harder than anything I'd done so far. And honestly, worry started to set in. As I continued trying, I just kept dying. I started to wonder if I could even do it. I doubted myself. But there wasn't a way around. I had to win. It was the only way forward. So with my confidence just being crushed, second by second, doubt setting in, fear that I would never win, there was one thing I could do. The only thing I knew how to do. I just simply fought. I didn't know what to say. Despite doubting myself, I just kept pushing, and it paid off. I had officially done it. I had beaten every single vanilla boss in Calamity Infernum. At this point, I was on top of the world. Moonlord had been defeated and I felt amazing. But while Terraria's content was pretty much ending, Calamity's was just picking up. But before I moved on too fast, I remembered that I had actually forgotten a boss. Down in the desert, I explored until I found an entrance, a portal, to another land. After entering, I made my way through the world until I found him.
Hello.
The bereft vassal.
Okay, so this isn't going to be as hard as Moonlord, which is very nice, but I'm not sure how hard it is going to be. I'm still going to be expecting a difficult fight. We're doing a lot of damage though, so I don't know. I'll boy some of the Gray Sand Shark. Nah, fam. There's the Great Sand Shark. Hey.
Since it was meant to be done before Moonlord, it was pretty easy. Still fun though. Anyway, it was now time to continue making progression, and I was finally going to start to see what makes Calamity, Calamity. Since Terraria's content had ended, the rest of this playthrough was purely modded. It started off, it was time for them. Deep down in hell, far on the right of the world off of a cliff, I summoned the next beings in my way. The profaned guardians. And I died. Almost immediately. Moonlord took a while, but that was simply just a representation of how the rest of this mod would go. Each boss was scaling exponentially, and each fight was marginally harder than the last. But since I knew that there was no other way but forward, I just kept pushing. And eventually, after enough attempts,
Hey, there we go. Okay.
Done. After 14 attempts, I had done what was just a taste of what was to come with Calamity, and I was ready for the next. But when I got to the surface, the ground was covered in some sort of white matter. I had no idea what was going on, so I went to Solon for hopefully some answers.
You're here. As we can both plainly see, things are not as they used to be. I knew that rift would be bad news. Maybe this is why I was brought here. Regardless, it certainly will not be going away anytime soon. What now then? Do you remember that seedling we found in the keep that I asked you to hold on to? What about it? It is weak now, but it holds almost limitless magical potential. If we can harness this power and turn it to the sky, it should be able to destroy the rift for good. But in order to achieve this, we will need the help of similar magical artifacts. We shall call this construction the Genesis. In the meantime, I will consult whatever magical resources I can find in this pursuit. I'd recommend you continue your endeavors as usual. You have a knack for encountering the obscure that will definitely come in handy.
Well, that's what I had planned. Now, I was off to go fight more bosses, but I also had a goal to accomplish. Constructing the Genesis. Either way though, it was time to continue forward, onto whom the profaned guardians were protecting. Providence. Wait, but what about Dragon Folly? You want to see Dragon Folly? Mm-hmm. The boss is so irrelevant, I nearly forgot about him. Mm-hmm. Alright then, little Timmy. Dragon Folly it is.
We're doing a good bit of damage. I'm taking a bit more than I'd like to though.
Alright, I admit it, that was fun. But I still almost forget about him every play. Anyway, after a quick detour, I found myself back in hell, inside of what seemed to be some sort of castle on the far right of the world, past where I had fought the profane guardians. I slowly crept in, and as I explored the structure, I stumbled upon it, the Providence Shrine, where I used the profaned core to summon her. And I died.
Okay.
And then I died again. And 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 again. But I kept trying. I kept pushing despite the deaths. My belief in myself wavering. I didn't give up. Because I had to win. Finally, after a treacherous journey, I had beaten Providence. The insanity of this fight amazed me, and I needed more. I couldn't even imagine what Calamity was going to bring later on. For now though, it was on to the next bosses that this win unlocked. Stormweaver, Ceaseless Void, and Cygnus, the 3 precursors to the next boss. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, it was time for Stormweaver. With the gear that I got from beating Providence, I felt unstoppable and I knew I would win.
Is this Dogaro of God's music? Hold on. If it's not, it sounds a lot like it. I think it is though. I am liking this weapon. It's doing good damage. Oh, first try, what?
Boom. 1 down, 2 to go. Without wasting time, I found myself in the dungeon for the next in line. Ceaseless Void. Infernum made this fight absolutely awesome.
Oh, this is awesome.
And despite dying, I loved it. So I hopped back down and tried again.
Take 2. Phase 3. Bro, I thought Emperor's Light and Moonlord. You ain't got nothing on me. He might have something. Stop, chill. My frames. There we go. Easy peasy.
2 down. But with this one, something appeared in the dungeon. Some sort of rift. There was only one person who might know something about it. Solon.
Hi.
So I asked her.
Something up? I defeated the Ceaseless Void and a rift appeared. Wait, defeated? You had to do combat? Oh gosh, are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Alright, thank goodness. I suppose then I'll meet you in the dungeon. I'll be able to find the rift on my own. Once we're there, I'll step inside and see what's within. This has all been rather dangerous. Are you sure about this, Solon? I must do this. But still, I appreciate your concern. It means a lot to me. Either way, I'll see you there.
Well, I had to know, so back to the dungeon I went.
You alright there, buddy? Here it is. I suppose all there is to do is step inside. Are you sure you're ready? Yeah, I am. I'll be back shortly. Bye, Solon. Hi, Solon. I found it. Are you okay? I don't know, but I'm alive at least. What happened? I entered the rift and immediately got this overwhelming dread. It was like it didn't belong there. Nothing strange happened until I took the artifact. Once I did, no, I don't want to remember it. Let's just go. This has been more than enough for one day. Here's the artifact. It'll be safest in your hands. I'll be at my campsite. See you around. Man, this water's annoying.
Solon gave me the artifact called the Anti-Seed, and this was the next component for the Genesis, our way of destroying the rift that's appeared. So I went ahead and placed the seed, which sprouted this.
Ugh.
Gross. But it also grew the Frost-Blessed Seedling, meaning that we were in fact making progress toward the Genesis. Either way though, I only had one more boss in this trio to do, one found in the pits of hell. Cygnus. And he killed me pretty fast. So I made a bigger arena, and fought him again, just knowing that I could do it.
Oh! There's two. That attack gets me every time. I don't know how to tell. Like, it gets darker, but I have no time to react. Bro, I'm too good.
The trio was down. I was making progress, and I'd unlocked the next boss, the Ghost, Poltergeist. Back down in the dungeon, once again, I was farming some skeletons to get the summon, and accidentally...
What the hell is that? I love it. That looks so cool.
I died. And I actually died quite a bit, but I was making progress. So despite losing...
Man, this is tough.
And even getting to the last phase, I knew that I could win.
Got this. I don't have enough health. There's a wall there. Okay, there we go.
One of the coolest and kind of gross looking bosses so far was defeated, and with each win over these entities, I started to near the end of this mod. While I didn't want it to end, I was incredibly enthusiastic because I knew that Calamity Infernum would only get crazier. So far, this mod had been difficult. Extremely difficult. By far the hardest mod I had ever experienced, and I felt like I was just barely winning off of pure hope. And I couldn't even imagine it getting harder. But I had no idea what I was about to go up against. It was time for the one, the only, Devourer of Gods. Yeah, I died a lot, but finally, after fighting as hard as I could to not give up, I gave it my all just one last time.
Hey! Hey!
Bang. I did it. I proved that I was strong enough to push through the failures, and I won. DOG was defeated. And then the world got dark. A thick fog covered it. I had no idea what was happening, so I found my way through it to Solon and asked.
I'm quite surprised you managed to find me in this dense fog. Something about it feels wrong. This haze is not a natural occurrence. Keep your guard up. Who knows what might be lurking out there? What do you mean? What do you mean? Am I looking for something? Hi, tree. What's what? What is that? Oh, nah. That's me. Well then.
No time to worry about that though. I was on top of the world. I had defeated the Devourer of Gods. I truly felt invincible. So, time for the next. Yarn. Yarn is one of Calamity's most well-known bosses, and actually the first one that I had heard of before playing the mod. And as you can see, I was about to find out why.
Okay, this is dope.
Yeah, I was scared. I was dying a lot. And I mean a lot. Everything that I had been through prior, Moonlord, Providence, DOG, they were all easy compared to what I was about to go through. And when I say I started to lose hope, I was truly despairing. It felt impossible. I wasn't making progress. I was nearly out of hope. I was so ready to give up and just let him win. 63 attempts in, almost 3 times the amount that DOG took. My path forward that used to be so clear was blurred, dark, empty. But it wasn't gone. Even though I couldn't see it anymore, it was there. All I had to do was just push forward. So I pushed, getting knocked down with each attempt, dying and having to retry just to die again, until I remembered. All I can do is try. So without hope, without knowing if this was even possible, and despite getting knocked down so many times, I got up, no matter what, and I fought.
Oh. Oh my. You dropped chicken nuggets.
This win had the sweetest taste. The pure satisfaction of this accomplishment was nearly overwhelming. Being so lost, hopeless, desperate, fighting with sheer grit and determination, I had done it. I made it through. I had defeated the dragon of the jungle, Yaren. This win made it feel like the hardship was over, as if I had beaten all of Calamity Infernum. But once again, I wasn't done. I was satisfied, yes, but there was still more. Somehow, this mod still had more to offer. So, after basking in my pride for a minute, I moved on. I had won against Yaren, yes, but that was simply just a key to unlock more bosses for me to fight. And the first of those bosses, the next up on my list, was Drayden's machines, the Exomechs. Either way though, pride and confidence flowing through my veins, I called upon Drayden.
Let's give it a shot, right? Hi, Drayden. I have waited long for this moment. Your nature fascinates me, for I do not understand it. You will face my creations, which have surpassed gods, and you will show me your disposition through battle. Now choose. Pick two. The first mech will be fought alone. Only once sufficiently damaged, the second mech will be summoned, and the two will fight together. I usually go with Ares, so I'll try this. Man, okay. It's so hard to tell what's even happening.
Yeah, I had no clue what was going on. So, I went on a detour into the actual next boss in line, Old Duke.
Yeah. And he's pre-Yaren, so I should be able to do it relatively easily. It might still take a few attempts though. That's just kind of how this mod's gonna go. At least from now on. Okay, I did it.
Just barely winning, I beat him first try, and now I could proceed with the next bosses. At this point, I actually had two paths ahead of me. I could either A, continue fighting my hand at the Exomechs, or B, try to skip to Supreme Calamitus as Calamity's final boss. So, since I already tried A, I wanted to try the latter.
I'm gonna give it a shot, at least. See if it's even remotely close to being possible, but I also do just kind of want to see what it's like. So, interesting.
I failed, but both seemed like viable options, so I tried again. But with each attempt, she began to seem more and more impossible. So I ditched that idea and I went back to the former. Back to Exomechs. I couldn't do it. Not only was I dying every time, but I wasn't making any progress either. I wasn't even getting close to winning. Going into this, I thought I had done Yarn. I can do this too, but that confidence started to falter. Each death crushed me as if it were an anvil falling onto my shoulders. Doubts were circling in my head. I had lost hope again. I fell back into that state of despair. I didn't know if my skill could scale with this mod. The seemingly obvious road ahead of me, dismantle the machines and then slay the witch, was once again cloudy, black, dead. The path had vanished. I didn't know why I was still trying. Every attempt that I spent just led to the same outcome. The impossibility of me defeating this boss was the only thing I could think. Yet, despite the disappearance of every reason, I kept pushing forward. I pushed, pressed on. The only thing I could hear was my will. The loss of reason let me hear myself. I realized once again how badly I wanted this, how much I needed to win this fight. And my will, it carried me to the very end. hopelessness, despair, and the Exomex had all lost. I was the victor. I came out on top. I had defeated one of the hardest bosses in all of Terraria modded. And let's just say it, I was extremely proud that I had beaten them.
Hey!
And despite being super glad that I had won, I wasn't done, and there was still more of Calamity Infernum. First things first though.
See if Solon has anything to say. Good that you're here. I want to talk to you about the Genesis again. Are you sure it isn't ready yet? I don't think it is, but it's close. We just need one last artifact for it to realize its full potential. I've done more research on my own, and I believe there's someone out there who may have what we need. Who exactly? A renowned scientist named Drayden. Have you heard of him before? I have. I briefly contacted him before with my special computer. Ha! That's good. Let's go to that computer again and ask him together. I'll follow your lead.
At this point, I was brimming with confidence because of the absolute insanity that I had just endured. So, straight to the computer I went, contacting Drayden with Solon by my side.
Hello, Drayden. My esteemed test subject has again initiated contact with Solon, I presume. Wait, how do you know my name? The collection of all knowledge is my ultimate pursuit. It would be a mark against me as a scientist to not study your friend after our last encounter. What do you mean by speak no more? Nice. I know of and possess precisely what you two seek. I can't read, however, it would be improper of me to simply hand it over. I wish to examine you in combat together, a rare case study, you could say. You will fight against and defeat my strongest machine, and in exchange I will grant you a special seedling for your floral super weapon. Do you accept this offer? It's been a long time since I've done some combat, but I accept. What about you? Of course I accept. Excellent, they will arrive shortly. Hello. Alright. I love this. So yeah, basically we're just using Solon to fight. This mod is just insane. Wrath of the Gods. I don't know who made it. I don't know like the studio behind it or whatever, whoever made it, but man, props to them. This mod is just insane. That was good damage. Where are you? Oh! Boom! Ah. Like all the small things, like him moving when being hit, like I can't imagine how. Oh, Solon. I can't imagine how you would code that. I have no idea. And I'm not a coder, so like it's not like if I would have any idea anyway. But even still, like that's gotta be insanely like hard. So yeah, this fight is easy. It's more of like a kind of just fun. At least to me, it's more of a just fun fight Mars. You know? It's a nice break after doing the hell that Exomex was. Still got to be careful though not to die. That'd be embarrassing. Oh, I'm supposed to stay by Solon. Yeah, I didn't know that. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm not gonna run this time. There we go. The data you two have provided to me is immaculate. That was surprisingly fun. But where's the seedling? Were it not, I've already fulfilled my end of the bargain. That seed you now possess was my machine's sole energy source. I am eager to see how you use it. Good luck, and farewell.
Aside from one little death, Solon and I had beaten Mars, the first official Wrath of the Gods boss, and a fun one at that. Now, while I was still extremely proud of defeating the Exomex, there was still a glaring problem. The witch herself, Supreme Calamitous. Prior to doing the Exomex, I had tried Escal, and I was worried because she seemed even harder than them. And that worry was still very present. Sure, I did Exomex, and now I was certain that I had the willpower, but just how much harder would this fight be? How many attempts would it take? These questions were filling my head before I even tried to fight her again, and it made me scared. I didn't even want to try because I was scared of failing. But then, I remembered. Since the beginning of this playthrough, there has been one sole thing that has stayed constant, and that is that the only way to go is forward, no matter what. So with that in mind, I stepped up to the altar. I offered the ashes, and I summoned the Supreme Witch, Calamitous. After a few attempts, it seemed like this fight might actually be even harder than Exomex. And after just barely getting through them, I had no idea how I would do it. But I kept pushing and pushing and pushing, but still, the familiar feeling of despair that I thought I'd gotten used to was back. And it was overwhelming. The minuscule amount of progress that I was making was nothing compared to all of the defeats. Fear, dread, doubt, all eclipsing any semblance of victory. It truly seemed like this was impossible. Despite overcoming that fear of impossibility multiple times already, I somehow ended back up in that pit of hopelessness. My belief that I could do this fight completely crushed. I had to keep moving though. Death after death, the repetition was growing more and more painful, each attempt more crushing than the last, and I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up so badly. I was done. But I still heard him. Keep pushing forward. Those voices that were there for Yaren and for Exomex. Nothing will get in my way. They were still there. I want to win so badly. Remaining in my head despite the failure. All I can do is try. I had already decided when I started this mod that I was gonna beat it. Nothing would stop me. I was going to win. And all I had to do was put in the effort to actually achieve it. So that's what I did. And if all I could do was try, then I was going to try. And to try. And to try. Until I finally won.
looking back in the void where my heart lays dead and my mind's driven insane. The pain extinction of myself, trying to reach for the stars. But if in the end there's no one that can hear the sounds of my soul rising in flame, then let the storm before dawn be gone, as dark as my own sky.
There was no better feeling. The treachery had paid off. The journey was worth it. The calamity that I endured was over. I won. Supreme Calamitous was the last boss in Calamity's main set of bosses, but I wasn't quite done yet. I still hadn't concluded the story for Wrath of the Gods, and there were still fights to be done. So I made my way to the Genesis, and with the seed I had obtained from defeating Escal,
here it is. It looks marvelous. It's been a long and difficult journey, but we've really achieved something great. At last, we can see the fruits of our labors. Now let's activate it.
and after finally finishing the Genesis, it was time.
This is what I'm saying about Wrath of the Gods. It's insane. Like, what? I actually don't know if Infernum changes this guy's AI at all. If so, if it doesn't, then I should be able to do it relatively easily, because I've done this before.
Also, let me just say real quick, aside from Mars, since with Solon he was easy, this boss is the first main boss of Wrath of the Gods. And despite it being in Calamity Infernum, I had the fight of a lifetime.
But, I mean, it's still up for grabs, you know, I don't know how hard it is. I also need to get a better weapon, because this one's not bad, but I know there are better ones. Alright, phase 2. That is the avatar of emptiness, baby. Hell yeah, there he is. This music is so cool. It's like super weird, I love it. Throwing damn planets at me. This mod is so fun. All of it. Infernum, Wrath of the Gods. The probably thousands of attempts that I've spent, I've enjoyed every second. I think 60% is phase 3. I think. I was not losing any more health. There we go. Let's get it, Solon. Let's get it. I always forget that you're here. Easy. We. It's calm. And yet it feels as something terrible is coming. Something from below. Run! Run faster! Hello. My boy's staticky. Oh my. That's very loud. No! Solon!
The Avatar of Emptiness, one of the coolest looking bosses that I have ever seen in Terraria, was defeated. First try. After the arduous journey that was the rest of this mod, I was ecstatic with how this fight went. And defeating it meant that there was one thing left to do. Fight the ninjas. That was the Primordial Worm, the boss fight at the bottom of the abyss. Not terribly hard, but necessary because he dropped this, the Terminus. This item is what lets me fight the final boss of this entire mod, the final boss of Wrath of the Gods, and the final boss of Calamity Infernum. Back at the surface, I now truly only had one thing left to do. The end of this mod had come. It was waiting for me. So, after taking in this world for one last time, I used the Terminus and was sent up to somewhere ethereal, ancient, unknown. But as always, I had one thing to do, push forward. So I stepped and climbed the stairs in front of me, entering nothingness. I eventually found myself in a world that was almost calm. I felt almost welcome there until I found it. This was the last boss of this mod, and by far the craziest one, at least visually. And even though I died a few times, I didn't even care anymore. After beating Escal, I had a confidence that could not be crushed, nor could it be forgotten. It was etched into my being that I had done the hardest boss in Calamity, so comparably, after a few attempts, this one was a piece of cake. I had passed the test, even though my game crashed. The nameless deity had been defeated. I was proud. I had accomplished something. Something truly amazing. Something obscenely difficult. Something that I thought was actually impossible. By simply pushing forward and not giving up, I had beaten every single boss in Calamity Infernum, one of Terraria's hardest mods. If you made it all the way here, just thanks for watching. The full playlist in 17 parts is on screen now and down in the description if you want to check that out. But otherwise, just thank you again, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.